everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Drive with Hollie McRae. Today I have a very exciting guest sat across from me. I have Miss Gail Whyte. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. It is an absolute pleasure. And for those of you that haven't heard of Gail's name before, I'm pretty sure that you will have seen her around, if not on the rally stages on YouTube more recently.
Yeah.
And on Instagram. Gail is a transmission technician at M Sport, as well as getting very involved in her own co-driving career these days. And these are things that we will touch on throughout today's podcast episode. And I think we'll start with the co-driving because, Gail, you're up in Scotland this weekend, having started your championship campaign this year in the Scottish Tarmac Championship. Tell us how it was been back in the rally car.
Really good and really exciting yesterday. Dry weather at Kinloss, which is
rare.
First, yeah. It was even quite warm actually.
Nice.
Nice as well. So it made for a good day because you had a lot of grip and a good finish as well. So yeah, started with 71 on the doors and I think we finished 47th overall.
Fantastic.
8th in class. So.
And that's co-driving for Colin Christie,
Yeah.
who you co-drove for last year.
Yeah.
In your first sort of championship campaign in the co-driver's seat. Tell us how that came about.
He'd just been in touch with us. I knew him through a rally and he said, would I come up and do a rally? I said yes, and I just happened to sign up for championship. Thought we'll see where we get to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, end of the year we just managed to get second in class.
Incredible.
Fantastic. So
it's sort of like event to event basis until sort of like, was it halfway through you were like, oh, this could actually...
No, I think there was 2 rallies left to go.
Oh, okay.
We seen where we were in the championship.
Yeah.
We just picked a few rallies to do across the year for a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was fine, and then it was like, right, we're going out here now, we need to go and do these 2 rallies just to see what happens. So
was co-driving something that you'd sort of always had your eye on, or is it something that you've been more interested in recent years? Where's that come from?
The co-driving, something I've always had my eye on. From watching WRC on the TV,
mm-hmm.
and then Dad used to be a mechanic for his mate, so I was always involved in the rally car and got like a seat in it and things, and it always from a really young age wanted to be a co-driver.
Yeah.
I just went down the mechanic route.
Case of life got in the way.
Life got in the way, pretty much life got in the way.
Yeah.
Went down the mechanic route, and then that's also then brought me back, like opened doors to go back to co-driving as well now.
So motorsport's always been in your life in one form or another,
yeah.
And it's just sort of navigating your own way into what roles suit you at the time.
Yeah.
How cool. Was it your dad that would take you out to rallies growing up that sort of got you involved, or was it more just sort of seeing things on TV?
It was Mum and Dad, because Dad would be away on the spanners and Mum would take me to service, and then we'd go and watch a bit of the stages and things like that, so I was always around the rally cars.
Got the proper experience.
Yeah, and then you're told you have to focus on schoolwork, so it kind of fell back a bit. That was probably when I thought like I would at least go into it and at least do it through the years, because you have to focus on with education and things, and I wasn't allowed out to play as much, but
right.
Yeah, so I just fell back into place now.
When did you start getting involved in the spanners?
Probably 2012 with Dad helping.
Yeah.
He was helping on a Mark 1 Escort with Andy Kelly, so I helped a lot in the after school and things on that, and then when I left college I went straight to M Sport.
Would you go sort of out on events with your dad and help there, or was it more just sort of around the garage?
Mainly around the garage. Mum was always like, if I had exams and things, she wouldn't let me go.
Like, get her out the garage, into the desk.
That's what it was.
Oh, dear.
But it was during like summer holidays and things, when things weren't on, then I was allowed to go to the rallies with Dad, so
nice.
Always keeping up.
And then it's the last couple of years you've sort of made your way back to the co-driving side of things. Is it something that you'd had in your sights that you knew you wanted to tick off, or was that a goal that you set for the year that happened, or did someone just come to you and say, hey, I need a co-driver, do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, I've been speaking at car club to people, and because I was quite young when I joined, and I'd always mentioned, I want to do a bit of co-driving, and then somebody said, my first rally was at Kames, and he said, "Do you want to come up to Kames and co-drive for us?" And that was it. I had the bug ever since.
Aww.
So, but then again, it goes back to I knew I had to focus on life and get a job, be in college. So it got put on hold, and I would just do little bits and pieces. And it wasn't till even last year that was still what I was doing. Until this year it's taking off, and it's now a championship season.
You co-drove for Rich Milner. How was that? Is that the Malcolm Wilson last year?
Yeah, that was unreal.
Yeah.
So that was I done the Grisdale stages in the December beforehand, which got snowed off, so I didn't really get a full experience of. We only got a few stages, and they cancelled it, unfortunately. So sitting with Rich, there was a bit of pressure on him because everybody knows him on WRC side of things, and then wanting to make sure you do a good job as well, so that he didn't do a bad job.
Yeah.
And yet, but he was flying. So I came into service and Malcolm Wilson had caught me. And he shouted on me. He said, "Can you just stop smiling so much, please?"
Oh,
okay.
You're just on cloud nine.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
That would have been a bit of pressure on your shoulders, knowing that you're like rallying with the boss, with the big boss's eyes on you.
Yeah, on home rally as well.
Yeah.
I took a lot away from that, and having a calm driver in the car, that helped when I was nervous, and now I know to keep myself calm so that they don't stress.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all an experience.
So he's quite a good driver to sit next to, is our Rich.
Yeah, he likes going fast.
And then, as you say, last year, the championship side of things up in Scotland then took off in a way that maybe you hadn't quite imagined, and now you're quite liking the look of the shiny trophies.
Yeah, after getting second in class last year overall, when you'd set out for a bit of fun, that I am hooked on getting trophies now. So it's just going to be a balance of work and going out to do some rallying as well.
You mentioned as well, like, you're not in the fastest car by any standards, but you've got reliability on your side. Do you think that's like an important lesson to learn, that you don't need to have the quickest car, but consistency can actually get you really far?
100%, and that's exactly what we showed last year. And I get that from work as well though. Yeah. We want to be out there and be reliable. Okay, you're not winning trophies all the time, but if you look at the bigger picture, it definitely shows something. Is
that something that yourself and Colin have had a little chat about before the season kicked off? Have you set any goals for the year ahead?
No, just go out and have fun.
Nice.
It's the main thing. It's still rallying's still fun. And I don't really want to ever lose that that side of it.
Yeah. Speaking of going out and having fun, last year, let's talk about another one of your co-driving experiences. You got to sit next to my Gramps, Jimmy McRae, at the Grampian Forest Rally. That was a fantastic rally by all accounts. From you personally, for me, I had a fantastic time. I think just the event in general was just so exciting. But tell us how that came about. How did you get the opportunity to sit with Jimmy?
He sent me a text message.
Did he? Oh my God, Jimmy slid into the DMs.
I was actually going to bed, and I was like, you know how nobody texts you these days.
Yeah.
It's all like Facebook or Instagram.
You hear that unfamiliar tone, you're like, what's that?
Yeah, it was sitting in the wee message box down the bottom, and I was like, I don't get text messages, what is this? So I was in my bed and I opened it up, and I was like,
oh my days.
So yeah, that was, he texted me and mentioned that he was thinking about doing it. Would I be interested in doing it? So
how good. I think he's got your number off someone at a car club and being like, right, let's
pull this together. I think that's where it came from. Now that I speak to a few people, it's
how good
that way.
Wow. Well, let's talk about sort of the run up to the event. Were you sort of back and forth with Jimmy a lot doing prep, or were you just sort of like, right, he's got this, we'll just show up and do it?
No, unfortunately, I committed to a full WRC season with M Sport last year. So
I think, unfortunately, I committed to a full WRC season is words that very few people will ever say.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, dear.
But it put quite a bit of stress and pressure. I put that on myself because he was always like, just don't panic, you'll be absolutely fine. But it meant the few weeks before the rally, we were away for a good amount of time in Latvia and then Finland. So yeah, we were really busy with that. So I couldn't come back up. But I did get to go and see the car with the boys at G&M, and we done seat fitting, we got everything ready to go. That was really good. And then during Finland Rally, WRC, between services, I was hiding in the back of the truck, learning pace notes, and thanks to the guys on the pace note who sent my notes across, sent the videos across to me in Finland, so that I could do a bit of prep out there.
You're like busiest gal in the service park.
Yeah, I started panicking because I was hoping the notes were going to come before I went out, so I had them, and then they didn't arrive on time.
Oh no.
And it was like, yeah.
Did you get them sent to Finland?
They emailed them out to me,
and
they sent them to home as well, so that I could at least, I wrote them out and then was sitting doing them. It was, yeah, but I just wanted to put my all into it to get the best result.
Yeah.
So.
Then let's talk about when you did eventually make it back to Scotland and headed up to Aberdeen for the event. What was it like to finally sort of get to the service part, get the recce done? How was it from your side?
Your grandpa was driving, he took us up, and we did get lost on the way to the test site. I had to put the postcode in and it didn't take us to where we were meant to be. But we weren't the only ones.
Good start, Gail.
Good start. Yeah. Felt horrendous. Was co-driver, got lost. But no, he was absolutely fine with it, and yeah, we weren't the only ones that had done that, and we were there in plenty of time.
How much testing did you get?
Did we do? We done a few hours. Went queued up, done a few runs, and then came back in. Max was there as well, so I was talking Max quite a bit, and quite a few other people. So
nice.
I
know Gramps does some amount of talking at a rally. You can't really have too long with him, and then someone else is in chatting away.
I think that's a rally thing.
How funny.
Yeah. And then from there we moved on to recce on the Friday, which was a massive experience for me because I've never done that before. I
suppose it'll be like the longest sort of recce that you've done as well.
Well, yeah, no, I've never done a recce.
Oh, true.
That is my first one.
Wow.
I was shattered. After I went to the service part.
The rally hasn't even started yet.
Rally hadn't started. We didn't have much time from recce finishing to like rally start either, to even like change some notes and things.
Yeah.
And I do remember I came in and I had a quick 20-minute nap in the front of the shop because I just needed it.
Yeah. Grampian was like a long rally as well.
Yeah.
Like long stages and lots going on.
Yeah. There was always, and then the fan zones as well, which I thought was really good to allow people to come and see the cars up close if they didn't want to go to the forest and things like that, which it seemed very positive.
So great recce. Yeah. Any stories from Jimmy, or was he quite focused? Was he on it?
I think he was focused on it.
Good lad.
Yeah, do you know what? It was one of the events that went by so fast. Try to go back, but yeah, it likes a bit of banter in the car and things. So we had that, and yeah, he's an amazing driver still.
And then it was time to get down to business.
Yep.
The car, obviously, with number 50 on the door, like it looked so great. I remember when I went in for the first time, was it the Friday evening that it started? Yeah. So Friday afternoon, I got sent with my WRC microphone round to try and catch some people in service before things kicked off. And you walk in and you've got Jimmy's Escort parked right across from the M Sport tent. So you've got Max on one side, Jimmy on the other. I was like, this is so special. Talk to us about the car and number 50 on the road and the excitement of, obviously, you were celebrating Gramps' 50th anniversary of rallying. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand when he sent me a message saying we were number 50. And I was like, entry list isn't out. And then I thought he was maybe quite upset that it was number 50. Not putting two and two together, it was his 50th year in rallying. So once that clicked, I was like, oh, this all makes sense.
What do you want me to do about it,
Yeah,
Jim?
that's honestly what I had. And I was like,
Like, does he want me to go and complain to someone?
Yeah,
like,
I was like, oh, did he think you were seated higher up or what? I was like, I don't really know what to do.
He sat there with his elbows on the table like, no, that's not what I want.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that then clicked. But yeah, as you say, there was just a buzz. The car ran faultlessly. So thanks to Mike Stewart for Len, is that, and for the boys at G&M Mechanical Services as well, for looking after us all weekend, taking care of us. So
I know, any time that we sort of crossed paths along that weekend, like Gramps just had the biggest smile on his face. You could tell that he was so enjoying himself. Managed to catch you guys at one stage end, which was really special, and got to the end of the rally. You two are spraying champagne, and it's at this point that Gramps tells me he didn't realise that he was actually up against anyone. And I was like, oh no, you're actually like first in class, not because you're the only one in the class. Like, you guys did really, really well.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Somebody said after the event, and I was like, oh.
How good.
It was all a bit, I hadn't quite looked into classes and things, because we were going for SRC and then we were doing BRC, so then Ricky was added on. It all kind of happened so quick over the few days leading up to the rally as well. So yeah, I was more focused on getting the notes right than...
Just a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah, it definitely was. I would relive every minute of it though if I could.
Yeah, it was a really, really great rally.
Yeah.
Like, the weather was great, it was organised perfectly. Every marshal I saw was just having the best time. Like, it was just such a lovely buzz around Aberdeenshire on that weekend. So I wonder if we can get him out seeded 51st next year.
You'll need to ask him.
Would you sit with him again?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you mentioned when we were chatting just before the podcast about wanting to take your co-driving to the next step now. You've had little experiences here and there, you've got a taste of coming second in a championship and wanting to take that forward next year. What does that look like for you? What is your sort of goal with your co-driving now that you've got the bug?
To go to probably onto SRC hopefully, and then maybe take a step up the ladder to BRC.
Yeah.
I think everybody can dream about going to WRC. It's just seeing how far you get.
Ready to climb the ladder.
Yeah, realistic goals definitely SRC and then on to BRC.
Yeah.
And we'll see where we go from there.
And of course this year you've now got a bit of support behind you in the form of the Motorsport UK Academy. Talk to me a little bit about that process. How did that come your way?
A few people just who I know had mentioned it to me, said, have you ever thought of this? So I gave it a bit of consideration, put my application in, and then was successful. So there's 9 of us for Co-Driver Academy this year. We'll work with coaches like Nicky Grist and Seb Marshall, do some training days on notes, recce, onboard reviews, places where we can all improve, and things like that to make us the best possible co-drivers. And then we also go on and do some fitness work as well, certainly psychology and mental fitness included, because the further up the ladder you go in motorsport, I think the more it does take more skill as well. Maybe not right at the top. Sometimes I see it from the M Sport side, we start taking a bit of the responsibility back, but until you get to there, there's a lot more things on the co-driver to do, so learning all about that responsibility as well.
It seems like a really cool sort of opportunity and something that I really wasn't aware was an option here in the UK. Obviously, you've got a lot of sort of academies or training opportunities. You hear Motorsport Ireland mentioned all the time. The French seem to be doing a really good job of it at the moment with their young drivers. But I didn't really realise that we had anything like that in the UK until it was Cameron Fair, Max's co-driver, that I think was part of it. He's still part of it this year, but last year as well. And he was mentioning going to Motorsport UK training things. And I was like, wait, what? We've got that too? Like, I didn't realise that that was something that was available to drivers and co-drivers in the UK.
Yeah, I wasn't fully aware as well till not too long ago. But hopefully we'll get a bit more promotion and definitely get people onto it to try and help more people. Yeah,
because if you're saying it had to be like signposted to you for you to know that it was a thing.
Yeah, I knew it was a thing, but yeah, there was a few people who said to me to definitely go and apply for it.
Gave you the encouragement.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll be a really exciting opportunity for you and something that brings on your co-driving. You've mentioned you've had one training sessions so far.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what that initial one was like.
So it was up at M Sport, which I obviously have a background of. So
Is that like when you get your parents for like school, like parents' evenings, and you're like showing them around, like, I know this classroom and this classroom?
What? That's exactly what it was like. Try to describe to people what it was like. That's exactly it.
Love it.
So yeah, it was funny walking around, not being at work, but you're in work.
Yeah.
Just speaking to the boys and stuff. So that was great fun. But yeah, I still took a lot away from it. Learned a lot. Learned some new skills and things. So we've done a bit of map reading as well.
Nice.
Had a wee 12-car rally. And then some of the travel and logistics side of things, which I don't get to see. I just kind of turn up from my point of view. And
I suppose you're seeing a different part of the
you don't realise all the
business.
stuff that goes in behind it and behind the scenes and things that to get us all where we need to be. So I really enjoyed it.
How cool. And going forward, do you know what sort of stuff you're going to be looking at in different training sessions, or does it just sort of come your way in an email closer to the time?
Yeah, we'll be given an email with dates and things and what's going on.
Well, now that I'm aware of it, I feel like I'm going to be looking out for the things that you guys are doing more. Maybe I should try and come along for some. Imagine that. Sort of show what you guys get up to.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I'll suggest it to them. See if we can bring you on.
Well, you've mentioned your first training day taking place at M Sport. Let's use that as a little segue to talk about your career at M Sport, because you've been there a little while now. Tell us how your job took you to one of the most well-known rally teams in the world.
I just left college, and being a female in motorsport as well, or wanting to go into motorsport at that time, and I just wasn't sure if it was right, and speaking to mum and dad and things, and it was just go for it. So after I finished college, we applied and we started there as a junior. So I actually started with no transmission knowledge, and they've taught me
incredible.
Everything. But yeah, just went down, and that's where my M Sport journey started.
So what did you study at college? If people are looking to get into something similar, leaving school, what did you then go to next?
I went to HND Mechanical Engineering.
Right.
That's what I got, HNC and HND. It's not fully relatable to motorsport. There is a few motorsport colleges and things as well, which if you're looking to go and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that with my past experience of helping on the rally cars as well, that gave me a boost and showing ambition in what you want to do, and it's got me to where I am.
What year did you start working at M Sport?
2018, August 2018.
Oh,
so
nice.
I did get the final few months as winning with Seb Ogier as well, so that was definitely an experience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the gates, like your first job in the working world, that's a pretty good one.
For him, I mean, yeah.
Wow. So started there as a junior, sort of learned on the job from the people around you, and you've been there for years now, seen lots of different drivers coming and going. Talk to me a little bit about what your day-to-day is like, because I can imagine it varies a whole lot depending on where you're at, what rallies are happening. So let's start, there's no rallies on, it's a day at M Sport. What is it that you actually get up to?
Just preparing units for the cars for the next event that they're going to go to. So whether it's the Puma WRC car, the Fiesta R5, so we've got some cars doing BRC, customer cars. We're obviously involved in the Raptor project as well, build all the gearboxes and diffs for them. So
you do sort of go between the rally and the rally raid stuff?
Stuff cool. Doing that. There's always work on, because you've just got to be looking ahead for what's going where and what's needed. We pretty much turn up in the morning and just, that needs done, so go and do that job.
Crack on.
Yeah.
Then let's talk about going to events. You obviously mentioned last year you'd signed up for a full WRC season, so you were extremely busy. But before the rally actually gets underway, you're involved in the testing that's going on. What's that like? What's your role in that sort of situation?
We're there my specific role, I'm just there to change the diff specs for the conditions so that the drivers can test them. So we'll just build up different diff specs, and if there's not much of that going on and you were on a test, you'll just start helping elsewhere on the car as well. So we do get you get more experience when you go and test them.
Right.
And doing that, and then from that the specs get sent back to M Sport, and then whoever's in the workshop builds the units up to the correct setup, and then they go in the cars and then they get shaken down, and that's them. Then we shake down, each car has the set of units in the car and spares as well, so that's another thing that probably we've got lots of work on, because we need to build up spare units for them. They get tested in the cars, shaken down, and then we box them up and send them on to a rally. So the week before our trucks go to a rally, we're mega busy.
It's quite cool that testing obviously is such an important part for a driver and being able to get familiar with what they want the car to be like, but for you it gives you an opportunity to become familiar with other aspects of the car as well. That's quite cool.
Yeah, and that then leads into when we're on a rally we can help with different bits as well, because you've done a little bit more, but you're there as your technician for your job as well. So. Yeah. Then
let's go to on an event. What is Gail Whyte's role? What's your day-to-day like?
Scrutineering at the start of the week. So we'll put the tags on the units. Due to FIA rules, we're not allowed to open the units during events, and sometimes two events can be linked as well, so we're not even allowed to open them between the two events, which then goes back to the reliability and the planning that we need to do to make sure that that gearbox is okay to go and do two events. So I'll turn up, I'll get them out, I'll scrutineer them. Most of the time we build them up like the back of the car, so that if anything is needed, that back of the car is ready to go. And then we're into shakedown on a WRC, so I can touch the car there, so we're always helping and trying to do our best there. And then into rally time,
and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, pretty much. It certainly has done in Kenya by the sound of it. I've not got an armband that you'll see the mechanics wear during service, but if they need me to touch one of the manufacturer cars, they can give me their armband and I can check a few things. But if we drain the oils on the units at night and they're silver, then we know that something's gone wrong. So we drain them every night just to check. Hopefully it's not, and if that's the case, we just refill them with new oil, and that's pretty much it. So if you see me standing about a service park with my hands in my pockets, it's a good day because nothing's gone wrong.
You're like, so, I don't need an armband today.
No, I don't need one. If I'm busy and I'm doing transmission, something's gone wrong. And that's us through Friday and Saturday. We'll just mechanic spanner the cars when they come into service or remote service. And then on Sunday, if we're lucky enough, or unlucky enough, I don't quite know, to get pulled for final scrutineering, they can pull any part of our car apart to check that we're using homologated parts and that we're not cheating. And I'm there for that, so that if anything needs done transmission wise, I can show them how to do it.
You've got the answers.
I've got the answers. Take it apart, give them it, check it, give it back to me, and it's all good.
How often would you say your cars get pulled?
Not too often. They normally pull the top two manufacturers, and we're unfortunately not there at the moment with junior drivers. But no, we've been a few times.
A couple of times.
So yeah, they can just randomly pull us as well. So we've got to be prepared for that.
When the cars are out on the stages, what does it look like back at service for you guys? Is there lots of bits and bobs needing done? Or are you sort of keeping an eye on what's happening on the stages so you can sort of predict what might need ready for when the cars come back?
Exactly everything you've just said.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have the stages on in the background. We're always keeping an eye on what's going on. We'll be re-prepping rescue cars so that they're ready to go to the next event. So we do quite a bit on that. Or when it gets through like a Friday afternoon into a Saturday as well, any parts that have came off the cars that we've changed, we'll try and repair them so that then we can reuse them back on the cars again, maybe change them that night to put them back on for the next day if it's bumpers or things like that as well. So yeah, just getting everything ready as if it was pretty much brand new as we can make it to go back on that car.
And then occasionally having a look over some Grampian recce notes.
So, yeah, some notes in amongst
God, it's a busy old job that you give yourself.
And you do it the odd super rally as well, so it keeps you busy for a few hours in the afternoon normally. So, or through the night with a few late nights.
Always something going on.
There always is, and you just it's hard to sometimes explain. It's just life for me, but yeah, when people start questioning you about it and you're like, oh yeah, I do this. I do go around.
It's pretty cool, actually.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
So obviously the things that we've spoken about are sort of the behind the scenes of rally. But I suppose in the last year, it has become a bit more common knowledge about what you guys get up to through More Than Machine. That M Sport series sort of took over the WRC YouTube page. I totally loved following along with what you guys were up to last year. But tell us from your side of things, what was it like having cameras on you as you were in some pretty high pressure situations at some points?
Yeah, at first we definitely noticed the cameras being there, and you're like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I not? And then I think throughout the season we just kind of got used to it, and you're, do you know what? Sometimes we need bodge parts back together to get that car either out on time or just to get it right. And yeah, at times you definitely didn't want them to be filming you doing that, and you thought, oh my goodness, what are people going to think? But it's all part of the job.
That's rally, as they say.
And there definitely was one high pressured situation where we didn't have a flexi service, so it means when the car comes in, we need to service it straight away. So with that, you're only allowed to certain mechanics on it and things, and that was where I got Malcolm to give me a lift with a gearbox, which seems to have gone pretty
iconic.
viral.
Absolutely iconic.
He still loves getting his hands dirty. Again, nobody really sees that bit of it, but it's just people being there and being ready, and everybody just mucks in. You try not to stress over it, but I think it can get quite heated at times as well. You're just making sure that you're doing the best job possible.
When was the idea of the YouTube series first brought up to you as employees? Can you remember it being mentioned that you guys would be getting filmed out on your jobs?
Yeah, it's been spoke about, I think it was the end of 23.
Right.
That it was kind of mentioned. And then they came to Sweden with us just to film some stuff, but we knew that wasn't getting put out at the time.
Yeah.
And then next thing, they started in Kenya.
Did you have to like opt in or opt out of being filmed as employees, or how did that work?
Yeah, everybody who's on the documentary has had to sign the paperwork to say that we would be filmed.
Yeah.
And we were happy for it. But the film crew is lovely, and they'll work. They obviously understand there's certain bits of our job that we can't film for various reasons and things like that. And they were great. You would just say, sorry, you can't film this bit, or things like that as well. So they're really good to work with. And I think they probably caught a lot of the team stuff as well that we do.
Yeah.
We are a team unit when we're away, and I remember one bit in Greece when we had the storm and they were there still at night with us as we're taking these tents down. They're still filming us, but they were still helping us. They were helping us as well. So
do you have like the same camera crews that would go to each event with you, or did people swap in and out?
It was mainly the same three people who came with us.
So then they do really become part of your team then.
Yeah, and I think that helps possibly with them filming us as well, because they know what like the crack we get up to and things we're doing and things like that. So that really helped.
They'll know when the right time to come to you for a question is and when to just leave you doing your thing.
They know when to stick a mic on you and when not to as well.
Yeah, because I can imagine it does add like a totally different dimension to what you're doing, especially when the rally is live and you're all sort of hands on deck, everyone's very focused on what they're up to. But it does, I think, from just a fan, a spectator's point of view, it's so nice to see the behind the scenes of it all and to get a little bit more of an insight into what the mechanics do, like what an engineer's role is, what actually happens when you see people walking around with a laptop, what are they doing? Do you think it is like a very accurate representation of what it is like being an employee?
Some of it, yeah. It's hard. It was hard as well because I understand like getting to show people what we do and things, and that definitely interests people. But then the cameras can sometimes just get in our road, so they want to be in close, and you're like, can you just move, please, because we need to work.
Yeah.
But no, I think just to give people an insight, like we're just doing everything on a bit of a bigger level and just trying to do it to the best that we can to be out there rallying.
Did you notice as the season last year progressed, and obviously as more and more people were probably keeping up with More Than Machine, did you notice a bit more sort of eyes on you around the service park and people looking at what was happening?
Most of it is still the same because you are allowed fans in the service park, so they can watch a service at night and things like that. So, but I think it allows the wider world to see what we're doing, because obviously we don't go to every country and not everybody can, even the countries that we're in, you could be hours away from it. So I think it does let people see that side of things. I have had a few people walk up and say like, "Oh, Gail, can you do this?" And I'm, "Yeah, who are you?" "Oh, I've seen you on More Than Machine." "Alright, thanks, so you've just remembered my name." You're like, "Oh, great."
Mad. You're becoming a public figure.
Yes, better behave. But no, I think it's been really good to showcase people what we actually get up to. And it's not all... Sometimes you see it from the other manufacturers who have a bit more of a budget and things like that as well. Like, yeah, we are out there repairing our panels. It's the same as what you do after a Scottish event.
Yeah.
And you realise it needs rebuilt. Okay, we just get on and do it.
So now I've got some quick fire questions for you. I do this with all of my guests with some slightly varied questions, but the first one is always pretty much the same. What is the most memorable rally of your career?
It's got to be the Grampian.
Yeah?
Jimmy, yeah, that highlight of life.
I was going to say whether it's like co-driving, whether it's on the servicing side, but Grampian takes it.
Top notch.
Love it. What is an event that you would love to compete in?
Oh, probably a WRC round. And the two that kind of stick out is Monte Carlo, because that's quite iconic to go and do that one. Or somewhere like Spain, because everybody seemed to enjoy that rally.
Next one here, what has been your biggest rally heartbreak or event low? Again, whether that's co-driving, servicing.
That'll definitely be WRC related, being a transmission technician. We've had a few people crashing out on power stage. And we had a driver, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was Timu, when he was driving for us, and in some ways it's gutting because all the work over the weekend is just thrown away. And then I had another one where a rear diff broke and it put a driver out of rally. And just personal side of things, that was quite gutting. It was just a parts failure, but yeah, you just felt gutting, like as a team as a whole, and things. So
that sort of comes under your responsibility. You're a bit like, dear.
That's exactly how I take it. It's
like,
not great, but you can only do your best. So
I suppose as well, like when you do get to that level in WRC and there is so much riding on it and there's so many team members out for it, when something like that does happen, it must just be so deflating. Yeah,
you just kind of want to hide in a corner. Like, oh, it's not me.
Everyone's unhappy faces.
Yeah, it's funny as well when WRC like commentary and they say, "Oh, there's a transmission problem," and then you start getting people texting you, "What's going on?" You're like, I don't know.
Oh no. Is it do you get quite a lot of like speculation?
Yes.
Like when there's something gone wrong and it's sort of like through the grapevine.
Yep.
From like teammates and whatnot, or from like people at home? Who do those texts come from?
Both. Yeah. And yeah, sometimes the rumours changed even between the teammates of what's going on. Somebody's telling you it's one thing, you hear something else off somebody else. So we never really know until that car comes in as well. So you've just got to be prepared. Yeah. But yeah, people at home when they hear the commentary, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Or sometimes as well, we give a bit of background info and you can't tell anybody that. So you've got to go, yep, don't know what's going on, but maybe not me that's broken, it's actually something else.
You're like, I'm not the all-knowing entity of the WRC here. Lots of like Chinese whispers around the service area and stuff. Always. And I don't think it'll ever change. Oh no. No. People love to talk. Yeah. Particularly in rallying. Everyone loves a little bit of gossip. Next one here. What is something that you'd love to achieve in 2025?
Another trophy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think what I would like to achieve, hard ones, but to go and do some more stage rallying, especially in closed roads. That's kind of a goal for this year. And just to see if we can get even more points now that we're out for a championship campaign. That's
big year ahead.
Yeah.
So going forward, you can only work inside the car or outside the car. Which one would you choose?
Inside.
Inside? She's swapping over.
Oh, but if I could. I don't like the rain or the mud, but I'm a mechanic and it's fine. You know when the cars come in, especially places like Kenya and Greece, and you're just scraping mud off and with your hands to get the weight down so that they're back to normal, and it's at the time you're just doing it and it's like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But no, it's all good fun.
Do you have those moments sometimes when you're like out of body experience, just like, Gail, what are you doing? How have you got to this point?
Quite often, yeah. Yeah. Or my face like dirty as well. Like, come in looking alright in the morning, you go home like, I don't know
what's just happened to me.
Looking like you haven't been home for 3 days.
Right, next one here. What is an experience still on your motorsport bucket list?
Oh, I would really like to sit with Malcolm on a rally.
Oh,
that's on my bucket list. Yeah,
cool.
Obviously sat with your grandpa Jimmy.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Try and get Malcolm in a car.
Oh, that would be so fun. What rally are we aiming for?
I don't know. I was actually talking about this to my dad last night on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what you do. Maybe the Malcolm Wilson again, because it's home ground.
That would be sick.
Maybe need to go and speak to him and say to him, he'll first hear this on this podcast.
Right, 2026 Malcolm Wilson Rally. Seeded number 1, we've got Malcolm Wilson and Gail Whyte.
Can you imagine?
That would be so cool.
Malcolm, if you're watching, like, this is the hint. I'll come talk to you when I'm back in work.
Like, 10 likes and it needs to happen. And lastly here, who is someone that you'd like to see on this podcast going forward?
I don't even know what angle to take that from, whether to go from like Scottish rally or whether to go from world scene. Get Rich on.
Yeah, true. He was one of the first people that I like spoke to for like recorded online content as well. Years ago when I was still a primary teacher, and I rocked up to M Sport to do that filming with Dirtfish, and I was like, David, what are we going to do? Like, tell me what we're going to talk about. What videos are we going to record so I can get myself like prepped? And he was like, we're just going to go there and see what happens. And I was like, what? I was like, this isn't going to work for me. I was like, I need to prep here. I was like so nervous. And they're like, right, okay, go and chat to Rich about the safari car. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So that would be a nice little full circle moment if I could get Rich back on. I like it. We'll make that happen. We'll get Malcolm in the car, Rich on the sofa. We're putting the world to right.
Just advertising M Sport here, aren't I?
Well, that's us for the quickfire questions, but I have a like YouTube channel subscription membership, and if you are subscribed to my channel and joined as a channel member, you get early access to my drive videos when they're ready, as well as all of the other content that I post online. And you're able to then ask questions. I pop little members only polls up. We have a little bit of chit chat going on often. And another question that I got from one of my members, Nicholas, is about life away from rallying. Obviously, you have a very, very busy life. You're here, there and everywhere, following your own career in co-driving as well as your M Sport career. What does downtime look like for you? Do you have much of it?
No, I don't. And like you say, life's just rally for me. So yeah, when we're not at work, we're competing or prepping for a rally back home, or we're away on WRC, living out a suitcase. On the odd time, I do like a bit of downtime, a bit of chill time. It's just normal things I like to do.
Yeah.
Sit in the house and chill is one of them. Or, because I live in the Lake District, going out on the paddle board and going up the fells and things. It
is a beautiful part of the world that M Sport is based. Do you get up home to Scotland much? Or does it normally link into when there's a rally on?
I kind of use it to like go to a rally so that I can have a stop off at home and it's not too far to drive to somewhere.
You're like, I'm going to book in tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. Phone mum, I'm just coming home tonight, but I'll be away in the morning. I'll come up still for family things.
Yeah.
And things like that. But being down there now for 6.5 years, I'm now starting to make a life down there. So I am starting to stay down there more.
Does it feel like home down there now? You're like sort of settled?
Second home, but yeah, I am settled. And we've got such a good social group at M Sport as well, because a lot of us kind of moved to the area. So there's always people, whether we're going out for drinks or going for food or go out on the paddle boards or things like that. So
it seems like a nice sort of gang of people, a nice like good group of mates. And even I know like my mum's still friends with like my dad's mechanics from when he was at M Sport. Like I think just the nature of rallying and motorsport, like you all band together through like the high highs and the low lows, and that makes those friendships last.
I think as well, okay, sometimes we fall out because we're like family, but there's other times we spend so much of our time with these people, especially when we're away, that helps as well.
So we obviously can't finish off this podcast without chatting a little bit about women in motorsport. You are the first female guest that I've had on this podcast, which is pretty shocking. It's taken me, I think this will be episode 7 or something. But it's something that I want to do a lot more and share the female voices in the sport, because I think women in motorsport has become a bit of a buzzword in recent years, but women have always been part of motorsport. Like it's not a new thing. They've maybe just not had the camera put in their direction before. And I suppose I wanted to speak to you a bit about it, because being a woman in the sport, particularly in the servicing side of things, is still a bit of a rarity. Do you think that being a woman in motorsport inspires you to keep at the job, or is it like a bit of a byproduct? Like you want to be doing the job anyway, so I'm now just sort of advertising women in motorsport in a way.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
I just love my job for doing my job. I know that there's definitely been some good stuff come from the women in motorsport and putting it out there and things like that. In my opinion, sometimes it's used too much. Doing some of the M Sport stuff, I've had a little bit of feedback that, oh, you've been an inspiration, or like really good to see and things like that, which, yeah, I'm happy that you're giving somebody else, like, hopefully something that they can work to and achieve, and they can then know it's possible. But as you say, women have always been in motorsport. You just don't always see their face on camera.
Yeah. I suppose that's the way it should be though. Like you're doing the job because you love the job.
Yeah.
You're not doing it to fulfill a quota or to be like, hey, look at me, I'm a girl in the service park. Like you're there because you're genuinely passionate about what you're doing. You love your job, and if you're able to then promote that job for women going forward, that's an extra bonus.
An extra bonus. That's definitely the way I look at it.
Yeah. Do you feel that when you are in your day-to-day role, whether it is at M Sport or on rallies, do you feel like you are a woman in motorsport, like different to the men in your role, or do you think it is generally like we all band together as a team, it doesn't matter like if I was male or female? 90%
of the time doesn't matter, and you'll quite often get people coming, whether it's on social media posts or things, come and talk to us, and they'll say, oh, the guys, and then a lot of people correct themselves to the guys and the girls. I'm just one of the guys.
I don't like that. No,
I'm just one of the guys. Just leave it. You don't need to say about it. It's okay. As long as you're not going to stop me from doing my job, then go on. Yeah, but people are like, oh yeah, the guys the guys and the girls. Yeah. Like that makes more of a big deal of it, I think. Massive. Yeah, that's totally.
And especially when you're using a term like just guys, it's just like a group of people. Like it's very casual. Like you're not needing to be like politically correct at the moment. Like you making a deal of it makes it worse.
Yeah. But then there's some things that I do find, like try to get overalls to fit.
Right.
So that side of things.
The practical stuff.
Practical side. Just isn't fully there yet, but I think that definitely will come. And obviously you might have seen it in some of my Instagram posts, but I've pink tools. My toolbox is pink. They do the same job.
Yeah.
They're a wee bit girly, and I like to bring that side with me.
I love it because it's like, who's to say that you can't have both?
Exactly.
Who's to say that you can't love working on the tools, but you also love pink, or
get dressed up at the
your
weekend.
purpley Puma nails, love the purpley Puma nails, like that sort of stuff. Who's to say they don't mix together? That's what I've sort of found, I think, throughout my life, even not even just in like a motorsport context. Like, I have such varying hobbies. There's just all of these different sorts of aspects of being human that I feel like as a girl, it seems more of an issue if you try to mix them. Like, no one would bat an eyelid if a guy was like doing lots of different things and being passionate about a lot of different things. But it's like, as a girl, if you've got multiple hobbies that don't necessarily line up, people are a bit like, oh, that's weird. Why is that happening?
Yeah.
And I love that we can just be like, no, I love doing this, I love doing this. Why can I not do them together?
I totally agree with you on that. I've heard that sometimes the nights out and you get a bit dressed up and people just don't recognise you. They'll kind of look twice, or like they'll not speak to you because they don't know who it is, and it's like, it's just me, but I have a girly side as well.
Yeah, like babes, it's concealer.
Yeah.
Like,
can you just? It's all right. It's fine. Oh, didn't know that was you. Still me.
It's just the variety. We love the variety. We need to encourage the variety.
You can do whatever you want when you want.
Yeah, and I think that is something that social media is making a bit more accessible, is like people sharing their day-to-day lives in every different aspect of it and being like, you can't do it all. Like, the option is there. You can explore it if you want, and if you do explore it and you don't like it, you don't need to stick to it forever. Like, you can turn your back on it, and it's really cool to have like women like yourself in those roles proving that that is the case. So I suppose we'll wrap it up with, if there was someone listening to this podcast, a woman of any age, whether it's a young person or someone that's maybe looked at motorsport for years and never quite known how to get involved and is maybe stuck to like the safe option for a while, what advice would you give to them?
Follow your heart and just go for it, because if I can do it, anybody can do it, and that's what I like to say to people. But yeah, if you believe in yourself, others will start to believe in you. And you're here on this earth. Don't let other people like kind of say almost lead you down a path, and you just kind of follow on and think, if you want to go and do it, just go and do it, because the worst they can say is no, and then you do something else. But
exactly.
If you don't try, you're never going to know. So,
Love
I work with girl guiding as well, and that's something that I do say to the girls all the time. Do what you want to do, and you'll achieve your dreams. So yeah. And
the more that we see women getting involved in the sport, the less we're going to need this women in motorsport label to continue. So let's hope that it will continue to become more accessible, more enjoyable, more exciting for girls, and that's then a conversation that we can maybe bring even more women onto the sofa.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you very much, Gail, for coming along and having a chat this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast, hearing all of your different sort of characters within motorsport, I guess. And it's going to be exciting to follow you throughout this season, see what you get up to both inside the car and outside the car. Instagram is GW Rallying. Is that correct? So if you want to follow Gail and what she gets up to, you can follow her on GW Rallying on Instagram. And I will be sure to see you again very shortly in another episode, and you can keep up with Gail as she gallivants around the world with WRC.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, it's been an absolute pleasure.